So I'll tell you guys a secret. The land on which my original farm is not my land. It's my father's land. Of course, a lot of you guys do know that it's not my land, it's my father's land. And that's no secret. But I also understand that a lot of you might actually think it is my land. Despite the fact that I call it my farm, I'm not disillusioned. I know that it's not mine. And I'm just spending a little time on that land, like a squatter on someone's land. Now I know that might sound a bit stupid because you're probably thinking, well, it's your dad's land, that means it's partially your land. But I think we are all raised up differently. I don't think that way. I've never thought that way. I've never felt that way. And because of that, this place where I stand is probably the most important asset for me in my life. You know what it is? It is property, a piece of land that I own in my ancestral area, right where I was born, right where my roots are. Now that probably means nothing to a lot of people. For example, if you're from the US, a lot of people don't have like roots or origins. But for us here in Uganda, most of us have an area of origin. A place where you're born, a place where your grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents are. And for me, this is the area, and nothing matters to me more than actually having a place or a home right where my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents lived. And guys, it's not inherited land. It hasn't been given to me by my dad. No, I worked for it with my own sweat, working really hard. Oh, the excitement. Now in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a few of the plans that I have for this area. But for now, let me just move around and show you guys exactly what I'm using it for currently. So we'll start right at the top of the land. Like I've told you guys, it's about 3 acres. And as you can see, there's not lots of buildings around. I have a neighbor right there who has a house that's shaded in trees. You can barely see anything inside there. But it's okay. I want my home to be like that too. I also have neighbors here. And then this is probably, it's less than an acre, maybe 7/10 of an acre. And this is being used to grow watermelon. The watermelon doesn't belong to me. Someone else is growing the watermelon, but it's on my property. Yeah, that's what you need to understand. Then right here next to it, I just planted bananas. So if you come from this part of the country like I do, you most probably eat bananas every day. And bananas is a staple food for us. I eat bananas every day, and I can eat it every day for a whole month without getting tired. Unlike any other food, I can't do that for any other food. So I really, really do love bananas. So of course it was obvious for me. So this is again maybe 7/10 of an acre again, on which I've planted bananas. It's going to be lots and lots of bananas that I'll be eating. And honestly, I don't have plans of growing it for commercial purposes. Should be for home consumption and then for the neighbors. In case someone is broke and they don't have food, you can always come along and you'll get some bananas from me. So you can see the banana plants right there, okay? So meanwhile, in the bananas, there is groundnuts that have been planted. You can see these are groundnuts. So all along, that's another groundnut plant, and you can see them scattered all through. Lots of groundnuts. They need to be weeded because you can see that there is weeds. Those will be sorted. Right there at the end, they have already started doing the weeding. So the groundnuts have been planted, my dad, for his own consumption. It's a good gesture considering how much he has done for me. Then when we move to the lower side, we have sweet potatoes. Meanwhile, we have these areas that we leave. They seem like bushes, but then just bushes. We could dig them up, but the purpose of them is to break the water. You know, it's moving right from the top to the bottom. So if the water comes running very fast, it could wash away all the soil. So these act as, you know, water breakers. They slow down the water. And of course there's trenches inside there, but they slow down the water and prevent the erosion. Right next to that we have sweet potatoes. You can see lots of lumps of sweet potatoes. And if we move at the very end, the other side, you see the place that hasn't been tilled, that has beans planted over there. And then after that, at the bottom, which is probably maybe an acre, at the bottom this side we have cassava. I hope you guys know what cassava is. So it is a root, it has leaves, and apparently some people do eat the leaves. I've never tasted the leaves. Apparently they're a delicacy. Some of them are sweet, some of them are sour. I don't know which variety this is. You can see that this variety You can see it with its green stem. It's certainly very different from this variety, which has a purple, pinkish purple stem. The colors are different, so there are two different varieties of cassava, and right to the very bottom is just cassava. So yes guys, I know it's probably nothing really big. It's just 3 acres, but to me it means so much, so much. And that's because it's right where I was born. It's in my ancestral home. You're thinking, the hell, everyone gets land where they were born. Guys, I'll let you guys know. For someone to own 3 acres of land in this section of the country, it's not very easy these days. Most of the people who do actually had it in the past. It's usually family owned, ancestral owned. It's land that they might not be able to sell, but even that is really rare. A lot of the land is fragmented because the place is really overpopulated. It's difficult to find an acre intact, an acre owned by just a single person. Very difficult. And so I know I'm still quite young. I'm turning 30 in June. very close by. So I'll be turning 30 in June, and I probably still have lots of years to live, and I will probably be owning lots of property. But this will always feel special for me in my life because it's home. After everything is done, after I'm done working, I do believe I'm going to live to an old age. You know, I'm going to live on this earth for a really long time. I still have lots of things. I'm not close to dying soon. I do believe that. I trust God is keeping me. And so when I get done with most of the work I have to do, lots of movements, this is why it's going to be called home. This is why I'm going to come back and spend, you know, my old age standing around, moving around, and probably there'll be houses in most of the areas around. And I want to keep this place as serene as possible. I want it to be a small ecosystem for me. I'm not going to overdevelop it, no. I don't want buildings everywhere, no. I want to put a very huge, nice fence. And after putting the fence, which is most probably going to be made from shrubs and hedges to keep it as natural as possible, I want to build a house, not a very big house, in the middle of the land, somewhere on the land. And then I'm going to do farming. So you guys do remember that I made a video before when I talked about the acquisition of this land that I was going to build chicken houses here. No, I changed my mind. I'm only going to build a chicken house. You see, with time, with the bigger farm and the smaller project here, now it doesn't make lots of sense for me anymore to build lots of chicken houses here, no. There's already a big poultry business running somewhere. And so for me to get involved in another really small project here, for me, that's not too big. So I'm only going to be doing this because I want to feel like I have a business and a project running right at home. Because until you have something running at home, everyone is looking at you and they are thinking, what is he doing with his money? Where is his money? Where is everything is working for? So I'm just going to do it so that I feel like I have something. But that's not going to be the main essence for me. So I do believe I'm only going to build a chicken house that's going to keep up to 2,000 birds, so that I have 4,000 birds in this area. That's all. So I've already started the work, guys. I've got guys who are going to be digging for me a well. Remember the old style fashioned wells? You see the hole that has been dug right there? That's going to be a well. Yeah, so the guys started digging today, and I think they have dug up to about 7 feet, which is quite impressive because the ground is quite rocky and hard, you know. It has lots of stones like this. They were breaking these stones simply using an axe. So it's very rocky and hard, but they're going to dig that until they find water. You can imagine. So that might be maybe 30 feet, maybe 25 feet, maybe 40 feet. Wherever they find the water under, they're going to dig, and once the water starts coming up, they build on the sides, and then we shall cover it, put a pump, a solar pump that brings the water up. Now I could have decided to do this using a machine, because apparently there is machines, no, not apparently, I'm sure. There is machinery trucks that move around digging this kind of stuff, but they are super expensive. I'm doing this at a fraction of what the machine could do. This is about a tenth of what I would pay if I were to use those guys or the machinery. So since the guys are able and willing, and it's their business, it's what they do, it's not like I'm cheating them, that's their price, that's what they asked me for. I'm like, cool, let's do it. So the first thing is to ensure that there is water, then there is power. That's the next thing. So I'm going to make sure that we get an electricity pole. We have power very close by. So we'll just need to get an electric pole to bring the power closer. And then next up, you won't believe me. So I want to build a small house, really small, just for workers. Maybe 2 small houses, one for me and one for the guys who are going to be working around in the chicken house. And I'm going to start keeping dogs. I don't know if I shared it before on the channel, but I really do love dogs. I love dogs a lot. And I'm thinking I want to start breeding dogs. I want to have some dogs for me, and I want to have dogs to sell. So I'm going to be breeding pure German Shepherds. I recently found out that they are very rare to find here in my country, the pure ones. So I want to start breeding them, and I'll be selling them. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a wise, beautiful idea to breed dogs? Because the place is isolated. The problem with breeding dogs in the city is that everyone complains of the noise. You know, dogs are dogs and dogs bark. So they will certainly bark. So I want to breed them here, which is a bit isolated. There's not too much noise being made for people. And then I can sell them in the cities and send them to any of you guys who would want to have the dogs bought. So what do you think? Do you think breeding dogs is a lovely idea? I think I'm going to do it. Just tell me in the comment section below. Whew. Guys, so that's the story of my maturity from being a young man to being a real man. Until I have a home here, I won't feel like a real man, at least for us. You know, simply by village standards. That's what it will take for me to feel like a real man. I partially feel like a man, you know, but until there is a home here, that's when I feel like a real man, and I'm excited about it. You guys can easily tell. It doesn't matter what else I have, unless I have a home here, I won't really be contented. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. That way you never miss out on an upload. Lots of love. Bye bye.